Well, here we are at the Gladden Fields, which does not gladden my heart, and I'm not too sure I would call them fields either. And supposedly there is a wizard around here somewhere. Apparently one that's gazing solemnly into the distance. Well, Radagast, what do you see? I am glad you've come, Pineleaf. It has been too long since last I looked upon the Gladden Fields, but seeing them in such a state weighs heavily on my heart. You mean it wasn't this bad the last time you were here? I was a fool, Pineleaf. When I discovered orcs dredging the Gladden Fields many years ago, I sought counsel with the greatest of my order, Saruman the White. Saruman learned that Sauron believed the One Ring came to rest in the Gladden Fields, but he knew not where it had fallen. Surmising that the orcs of Mordor were sent by Sauron, I offered great birds and beasts to Saruman to keep watch on the fields and hinder Saruman's forces. I thought I had done what was right. In time, my birds and beasts abandoned me, and I began to grow suspicious. I told Gandalf of what happened, but when Saruman soon allowed the White Council to confront the necromancer, I had no reason to doubt his judgment. Once the necromancer was cast out of Dol Guldur, I returned to the Gladden Fields to find that all the orcs had vanished, leaving only debris of their dredging machines behind. I traveled home, believing that Sauron's search had failed. But soon the orcs of Mordor attacked, and I was forced to abandon Rosgobel. And so I wandered for many years. Far too late I realized Saruman's treachery, and I was ashamed to have been a tool of his deception. After Gwaihir returned from Orthanc, I learned the truth of Saruman's betrayal was at last undeniable. It was he who dredged the Gladden Fields, he who allowed Sauron's search to continue unhindered, he who desired the One Ring for himself, he who sent the orcs to Rosgobel, he who imprisoned Gandalf, and he who would betray any and all in order to possess the power of his own. What Saruman inflicted upon the Gladden Fields never truly healed, but I have sent my friends deeper into the marshland. I have given them instructions to guide you into investigating the Gladden Fields. Suffice to say, orcs are the least of our troubles. There is rumor of an upstart ruffian lord in the marshes, and I myself have discovered a strange blight taking hold of the flora and fauna of the Gladden Fields. Alas, I do not have time to see to all of these tasks, but they are all of great importance. I simply can't be everywhere. It is a strange thing to be needed in so many places at once. Is this how Gandalf must feel? Seek out the friends in the Gladden Fields and aid them where you can. I must return to Hootfeast at once. So I need to aid Radagast's friend near Lulstroke, Radagast's friend near Sharkey's Slough? Slough, I guess. Yeah, Sharkey Slough, and find and aid Radagast's friends near the Gladden Field. Alright, fine. How well am I going to be able to understand your friends? That's sort of like the real question there, because I am sure his friends aren't exactly well versed in the speaking of Westron. At least that's my guess of the matter. Ooh, a ruffian! Well, might not be a ruffian, might be a good guy. Hello, sir. I was wondering. Yaha! You must be some sort of apprentice wizard or something to hold me in check like that for a moment. Well, then I will have to deal with that. So obviously, these are friends of the orcs or tomb robbers or something like that. We have to deal with that at some point. And also to find Radagast's friends. And of course, I need to kill some orcs and half-orcs. Hold up. What's this? But that could be Sharkey Sloth, yes. The question is, are there orcs back? That's a big toad. I think I'll avoid the big toad. Now, what's in this camp? I guess we better check to see if there's anything here. Anything at all? No, that's not an encampment. Good grief. When he said he was trying to dredge up the place, they weren't kidding. Whee! Hold on. Oh, so there are half-orcs here. Well then, we are going to have to deal with those because, well, Gandalf told us to deal with them, and besides, they might make it a little bit easier to help Radagast too, and maybe they could give me some other information at some point. Hey! Alright, fine. I will. Dredgers? Now I'm wondering, what could they be dredging up now, seeing that it's been years? I mean, many years since... Yeah. Many years since the ring had lain at the bottom in here, and... Of course, the one ring is destroyed anyway. Saruman has his staff broken, so it's like, are they soldiers that have decided to refuse to acknowledge that the war's over? I mean, there's always that thing. Watch it, I'm going to find one of Radagast's friends and they're going to tell me to come in and kill these guys, aren't they? Isn't that always the way of it? There is nothing worth doing once that can't be improved by doing it twice. Yeah. This guy is tough. Certainly a little bit tougher than some of the other enemies I've run across. Alright, there you go. Now, I suppose to Ratty's friends. Ah! A thrush! But I don't speak thrush. As it dawns on you that this thrush must be the friend of which Radagast spoke, it lowers its beak to point to a small scroll bound to its leg. I take the scroll and begin to read it. The scroll contains hasty writings which swiftly identify as the writings of Radagast the Brown. As I read on, Radagast writes that his growing concern about the sudden arrival of a ruffian lord named Sharkey in the Gladden Fields. It seems Sharkey's men have taken over an old dredging site once used by Saruman's forces, but it remains uncertain how a band of ruffians could overcome the warriors of the White Hand. Regardless, Radagast is of the mind that Sharkey intends to use Saruman's old dredging machines to ruin the Gladden Fields in a search for lost treasures, and he fears that some of the woodsmen who have left Hootvis may now be in the service of Sharkey. So, yeah, I have to go back to Sharkey Sloth. But the interesting thing, of course, is that apparently that's the one thing that Radagast doesn't know about Saruman yet, and that is, of course, that Saruman is Sharkey, that they're one in the same. This seems to be about where I'm supposed to find the second friend. I wonder, is this another bird? Yeah, another bird. Hello there. As you stand curiously looking at the bunting, it lowers its beak to point you to a scroll bound to its leg. Alright, I take the scroll. The scroll contains hasty writing, which I swiftly identify as Radagast the Brown. As I read on, Radagast explains that a company of orcs who survived the end of the war are now made camp at a place called Lulstrok in the Gladden Fields. Radagast's writing continues to describe how, until a few days ago, the orcs had apparently often fueled feuded with the men and half-orcs in the center of the Gladden Fields. But they did not seem to pose a serious threat to the Wild folk. However, Radagast now fears that they have stirred by the words of a large orc among their number, and, as a consequence, they have grown more bold in recent days. Troubled by the harm their siege engines would inflict upon the Gladden Fields, and concerned that the orcs might soon attack the Bjornings and the Woodmen, Radagast concludes by asking you to drive out the orcs and damage their siege engines beyond repair. As the bunting remains perched nearby, I decide to investigate Lulstroke. Alright, Lulstroke. That would be down in this direction. Well, that's the direction of the third. Is there something? Oh, nah. Just a bog guardian. Ah, it's facing the wrong way. It looks like Lulstroke is probably up there. And that's a nasty frog. Well, let's get to a place where I can see. I know why he's upset. He's upset because I called him a frog instead of a toad. Of course! Nothing worse than a pedantic toad. Alright, well, I have to deal with this. Now, you guys didn't really have to join this bully here. That's all I'm saying. You could have gone well. Fine, fine. Now, let's go and check out this orc camp. Aha, the Shabak High. This place looks heavily fortified. Alright. And what else here? Well, the Shabak High, are they the... Probably... I wonder if they come from Saruman. What is Saruman up to? Because apparently, despite being cast out of the Order, he's trying to make mischief anyway. Well, that sounds like Saruman. Alright, what do we have here? We have... Collect shorn beers from Shabak High. Oh, boy. Yeah, alright, fine. And what else? The word of Mazak. After discovering the encampment of the Shabak High in the Gladden Fields, you recall Mazak's last words in the Tower of Dol Guldur. Wherever your people catch glint of gold, or silver, or gems beneath the mountains, there will be an orc to slay him. Everyone. That is my vow. That is the word of Mazak. Seems that Mazak's crew have not gone unheeded by the orcs of Moria. Oh, okay. The Shabak High are the Moria orcs. Yeah, I very clearly have forgotten that little detail. Well, Mazak is certainly not afraid to take care of that. Let's see. As you press deeper into Lulstock, you notice that the banners flown by the Shabak High bear a striking resemblance to those flown by Mazak in his pulpum in Moria. If the legacies of Mazak and his cruel forebears, Bolg and Azog, are ever to be ended, the banners of the Shabak High must be burned. Alright, fine. So let's get rid of the Shabak High and burn their banners. Get their beards, burn their banners, all sorts of fun stuff. Burn their siege engines, which is... Right? Is where I'm supposed to do that at? Well, whatever. Here you go. Take care of them. Ooh. We're gonna find these guys all over the place. Yeah, Mashada yourself! Yeah, Moshka school yourself. Yeah. Yeah, you shut up. Oh, no one told you that the Nazgul are dead or banished or whatever you do to a Nazgul when it's no longer a Nazgul. Ah, well. Yeah, right. This is going to take a while, that's for sure. Now let's take care of some of these siege engines. Let's break the wheels a little bit. Yeah. And let's try that. Good. And probably have to take care of any orcs that are inside of it also if we want to make sure that they don't interrupt us as we are de-wheeling these. Oh, he had friends upstairs. I'll take that into account at some point. Are you done? No runsies, no runsies. Completed. Ooh, I've killed many orcs. And I'm sure I'll be killing many more orcs at some point. And even more orcs. I managed to collect several beards from them. Now let's burn the beards. Yeah, I'm sure that'll really make them happy. Although Moria remains lost, you have done what I can to avenge the dwarves. There you go. Now hopefully that'll help a little bit, though I'm sure Mazog is, or at least the memory of Mazog, will be around for a little while longer. Now, where's that last banner? Ah, there's one out here. Alright, there you go. Let's get rid of that. Whew. Now let's deliver the news to the bunting. Assuming he could understand me in any way. I think I did what Radagast needs of me. The bunting appears to have awaited your return. It points its beak to its leg, and I realize that he intends to return to Radagast with the scroll. Alright, I turn over the scroll and begin to write on the other side of it. Radagast victory over the Shapag High in the Vales of Anduin. However, mention that the orcs, once loyal to Mazog, now seek vengeance against the dwarves who escaped the downfall of the Iron Garrison. Whether they resurface in days soon or come to many years from now, the Battle of Moria is not yet ended. Alright, so that's one down. I suppose we've got two more to go. And I suspect I'm going to find a bird that wants me to kill some relic hunters. I don't know, I just have a feeling that this is going to happen somehow. It just seems like the type of pattern one sees here. Now let's have another look at Sharkey's Slough. Amidst the half-orcs and ruffians at Sharkey's Slough, you have discovered a number of destructive tools used by Sharkey's men in search of the lost treasures in the Gladden Fields. Among these tools, I've noticed several of Saruman's old dredging machines have been partially rebuilt and reinforced to dig deeper into the earth. I should hinder these efforts as much as possible. Wow. What else is new? Oh, that's a marsh. We don't want to kill the marsh tenders. No, of course not. No longer the days where you're supposed to kill the local lurkers, I guess. Alright. Now, let's see. Ooh. A ruffian. Really a ruffian. Well, maybe I should have tried to speak with her before attacking. I don't know, but... A band of ruffians. After discovering the terrible destruction of the Gladden Fields, Radagast is determined to halt the work of a band of ruffians loyal to Sharkey. Ruffians loyal to Sharkey? Oh, of course. That's how we first heard about Sharkey, was through that. Okay, so now, what else do we need to find out around here? Find signs of the White Hand at Sharkey Slough. And let's see, what do we have here? Relic hunting tools. Destroy tools. Destroy half orcs, like this sentry that is looking the wrong way, conveniently. Of course, his friends apparently need to be a little bit more attentive. So that's something I'll have to take into account in the future. Alright, so we need to get rid of half-orcs and ARP. Ruffians, get rid of ruffians, get rid of dredging tools, get rid of dredging mechanisms. And now, finally, you. Whew. Well, at least I'll take care of all of Gandalf's needs while I'm over here. What will Radagast's third friend have? And am I going to run into any surprises here at Sharkey Slough? We'll have to find that out in the next episode of Pineleaf in the North Kingdoms.